Now we've selected a part and we've told the system that we would like for that part to be an assembly. Now we're going to actually tell the system what parts make up that assembly. And so to do that, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to inventory assemblies and tell it to create the assembly, or create and modify the assembly. And we're going to type in the assembly number that we just got through creating in the previous video. So we're just going to select that item. And then the next thing that happens is Lizzie begins to ask us to enter part numbers that make up the assembly. So let's say, just as an example, that this particular part is part of that assembly and this particular part is part of that assembly. And I want to tell it that it actually takes two of these items to make that part up. And we get a list of bin locations if we want, that we can specify what bin we want to pull that out of primarily. Now I'm going to not choose that at this point, and we'll make it up later. Now, in a situation where you have more than one part number that's actually the same thing, it's just maybe you can get a part from 5 different suppliers and they're 5 different part numbers, and they could even be 5 separate, totally different items, but they are the same thing inside of that assembly. What we could do is we could come in here and we could say that it takes one spindle, for example, and let's just say that the first number there is a spindle, and it takes one axle to make up this assembly. And so now that we have that in there, we're just going to tell it here that we want to finish. And so we have basically created our first assembly. We created this, told the system what part number we wanted to be the assembly, and now we have assigned parts to that assembly. So if we come back in here again and we choose that particular assembly number again, so we're going to type in kit G10. And now you can see that everything that we had entered in on that previous screen are all saved and ready for me here as being part of the assembly. Now, if I wanted to delete one of these items off, I can delete it. If I want to change the quantities, I just change the quantities and then tell it that I'm finished making the updates, or I can update it and process it and keep it up on the screen. But either way, we have told the system now what parts make up this assembly.